You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
This is Shut Up and Get a Customer here on KLRN Radio. Sales insights for those looking for an unreasonable amount of success. Featuring Dan Jordan, the sales energizer. Online at remedysalesmatch.com. Dan Jordan's advice, shut up and get a customer. Find out more at remedysalesmatch.com.
Woo! So we're back again. Yeah, I had someone actually tell me that it's rude to say shut up and get a customer.
Why?
Yeah. What? Yeah, is there a way to make this microphone that it's not exploding my ears? Just a little bit?
Yeah, turn the volume down.
See that? Because I'm loud to begin with.
Look at that. Wow.
Is this better?
That's loud. Okay. Larry Towner's back. It's about time.
Yes.
We had a couple weeks without Larry Towner. I'm the Deej. This is Shut Up and Get a Customer. This is what's going to give you and your small business and your career the boost it needs to take on this new year. And it's already New Year time we're talking about.
I know. Right around the corner.
Man.
You know? People have to do it. Actually, that's one of the things I'd like to discuss. A lot of people have these New Year's resolutions. My New Year's resolutions start on Thanksgiving. It's done. People say it's January, January 1st. I start New Year's in December. The fact is, every day is New Year's.
I was going to say, I start mine every day.
Yeah, every day is New Year's. That's right. But, traditionally, but what if, you're going on this diet January 1st?
No, you're not. No, you're not.
No, you're not.
I mean, honestly, there you go. You're on January the 1st, No, you're not. But if you were really going to do it, you'd have already started.
The thing is, the successful people know, start on December 1st. By the time you get to January, you have enough of a head start that you might actually do it.
That is correct.
You got 30 days.
It takes...
While everybody's putzing around, eating, worrying about their New Year's resolution, writing them down. You've got a head start on the world. That's what you need. And your business is the same way.
Everything is the same way.
It's an easy way to get a head start, Larry Towner. Larry Towner called me earlier and said, listen, I'm going to bring my daughter, the model, to the show.
Yes, the model. Well, I have two daughters,
Oh, really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I have an older daughter.
What does she do?
She works for Publix. She's a bakery manager.
As a model?
No, she's a bakery manager for
model
Publix.
at Publix. Yeah.
The other, I wish the other one could get that gig. Yeah, that would be a sweet gig.
Good with
the Publix gig. Good
with the samples. So,
anyway,
why are you laughing at that? That wasn't funny. Good with the samples. So, I think it's time for it used to be the Jim Rohn quote of the week, but we've changed it to the Deej quote of the week.
When did we go with Rocky for this one?
Well, when our producer decided to do so.
Oh, all right, just checking.
New guy, Nick. All right, here we go. And this is very important. This will make your career, I'm telling you. Concentration is like a muscle. It strengthens as you use it. Interruptions break your exercise.
Did you really make that up?
I made that up.
Are you sure?
Is that good stuff?
That sounds like Jim Rohn.
Did
you steal it?
Look it up. I did not. I would not steal it.
All right, just checking.
Certainly not on the radio. I wouldn't steal it. Yeah, that's right. That's right. We share
so to your point, that is a very correct statement, right?
You have to, and it's just one of the things we spoke about last week while you were so obviously missing during the show. is what we had.
I was doing my job
We're
selling
talking
a truck.
about setting priorities and scheduling your day and
Yes.
working the plan.
Yes.
And that's what concentration is. If you could just focus in on the one important thing, we think it's getting a customer, but there are ways in which you do that. If you can just do that and give somebody else your phone. I'll do that when I'm doing prospecting and I'm cold calling. I'll give my phone to my assistant. I shut the door and I say, "It's on you. I'm here for an hour."
And that is concentration.
Yes.
And you have to do that one other thing, right? Consistently.
Oh, I thought go to the bathroom before you get started. I didn't know what you.
Well, that's pre-planning. That's a different issue.
About to say.
But you have to do it consistently, right? You have to do it day after day after day, or you have to do it at least scheduled, right? So you do your prospecting once a week. How often do you prospect on the phone?
It's my most important part of the day. And for new salespeople, great question. New salespeople should, or every salesperson should be prospecting 2.5 hours a day.
I'm with. I agree.
Easy
I'm
2.5 hours a day. And if you're a new salesperson, even more. It's nothing else you need to do.
Right.
But it's the most important part of the day. If you look at my list, and I do have a list, and the six most important things that I'm going to do that day, prospecting is always number one.
Right.
It's the most important part. And in fact, on the way here, to the radio station, the glorious confines here in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia, on Biz 1190.
Biz 1190, that's right.
And here on Biz 1190, appearing at what time? At 9 a.m. on Saturday morning.
On Saturday
Biz 1190, and you can catch it on SoundCloud any time of the day. Any time of the day.
Whenever you want.
So all you sponsors, AquaGuard, whenever you want to inform your listeners that you'll know exactly what to do.
That's right. Semi-live from the 7th floor.
So on the way here, while the rest of you just drive here, listening to the radio and playing games and worrying about the election, I stop my car and I say, listen, I have 20 cards in my pocket. They're right here. Hold on.
Okay.
I got 20.
Remember, it's radio. Nobody can see.
I start the day. Well, yeah, there's people over there on the three people on Facebook Live.
3 people on Facebook Live.
Start the day with 20 business cards in your pocket, and you don't get back until you get rid of all 20. So on the way here, I dropped off a couple. I went into a place. I saw this sign. It was it was very welcoming.
It sounds it.
What did it
We've
say?
heard this before, but that's okay.
What did it say?
Said no smoking, no loitering,
and no soliciting, private property.
No soliciting.
Get out of here.
Guard dogs.
Violators will be prosecuted, all that stuff. And
the hounds will be released. That's what it is.
And so I walk in, and I found the nicest woman, Renee. Could not be sweet. She was in a room. It was locked. You have to press the button to go, and she lets me in. And I talk. I say, hey, I'm one of these salesman type characters.
You used your line that I copied from you. Dan Jordan gave me this great line. He walks in and said, your opening line is, hi, I'm just one of those pesky sales guys.
Well, you do it with a smile.
Talk about a wall breaker, though.
It's a great wall. It works.
Really, absolutely.
Works. Did I not call you? I was in Texas when you gave that tip out on your tip of the week, which we'll get to later. But anyway, at the tip of the week, right? And did I not call you about an hour and a half later and say, I've used your line and it's awesome?
Yeah, it works.
Works great.
You do it. Do two things. You say, hey, I'm one of these the pesky salespeople, but then you have a big smile, and then the best line after that is you say, don't I look it? It's impossible not to. They'll look at you and they're like, oh, well, kind of. Okay. And then they say, what do you got? And then you give your little pitch and you say, hey, I'm temporary staffing, good, strong, conscientious, hardworking, and good looking. You guys use any? That's my line. And the lady, she said, and you know what she said? She said, yes, we do. And you need to speak with Jennifer. And she gives me her name and her number. She's not here today. Call her. I'll send you right through. I work in HR. I'd like to work with you. Boom. And that was from somebody who the front door kicked everybody else away.
Yeah.
And so what happens is the world is a bunch of wimps now.
If you follow low-hanging fruit.
If you follow that. So here's an opportunity. It's one of the most important things about sales. You want to do what other people are not doing. You want to be different.
Yes.
And, long ago I realized, I'm not the smartest. I'm not going to be different that way.
We've known for a long time you're different. Trust me.
But what you can do is work in the places go to the places that other people won't go.
At times when they don't go.
And perfect. And at times when they won't go. So let me ask you.
Yes.
It's a good thing. When are the best times to go and see prospects or to prospect for more business?
24/7. I find, for me personally, the best times to go are from about 5 o'clock in the morning till about 7:30, and then from about 5:30 at night to about 7 at night. Do you know why?
Tell me why.
Well,
tell the listeners why.
I'll tell the listeners why. So for me, I sell business. I sell business to business. I largely sell to. I'm either going to call them executives or business owners, whichever you want to call it. However you want to describe that. So it's a business to business sale. It's executive owners. Are there any secretaries in the offices at 5 o'clock in the morning?
No.
Pretty rare. When you walk in the front door,
big boss man right there.
Bingo.
Yep.
Ding,
now, what
straight
about
to the top?
You're right. Yeah, you start in at somebody that's in an authoritative position straight away. It doesn't even matter if it's just the shipping manager, whatever. He's a boss.
Because what about the real estate agent though, who's dealing with an individual? You're not going to knock on somebody's house at 5 a.m.
No, but that again, you have to cater it to what your business is, right? What you're doing. You HR people generally aren't going to be there at 5:30 in the morning. But right, think about this from the temporary staffing standpoint. If you go in and you get a hold of the big boss, and the big boss says, "Hey, call Jane or whoever it is, that's in HR," right? And you say, "Hey, I was talking to Jim, the owner, and he told me to give you a call." Is her ears perked up a little bit?
Well, listen to these sexist comments. Why is Jane not the boss and Jim the lowly HR guy?
Okay, irrelevant.
It's not. I'm just joking. I don't care. Listen,
it does. I mean, I've made many sales calls on women at the same time. It does not matter.
Here's the thing. You're absolutely right in the business-to-business transaction.
Business to business.
I want to, but there's something more general that everybody needs to hear before we go on our first break. Aside from the fact that if you're going to hire people, you got to use temporary staffing. Give me a call. But here,
shameless plug.
And Remedy Staffing here on Biz 1190. But what you want to work is what other people aren't doing. So other salespeople, your competition doesn't work these 3 times. They don't work on Mondays. They don't work on Fridays, and they don't work when it rains.
There's two other times.
If you want an added advantage, of course, the holidays and all that, but if you want an added advantage over your competition, work on the days hard on the days that they're not. Mondays and Fridays, you get a free one every week. Now, Thanksgiving, that's a bonus. I mean, you want to go crazy.
Yeah.
How many other salespeople were talking to that wonderful woman today? Renee. Zero. And that's how it works. All right, listen, this is a special edition where we're going to deal with a lot of questions from my coaching clients that we have throughout the week. They've asked a few questions. I'm gonna give our lovely Vanna White producer here.
Hey, that's a sexist statement.
New guy, Nick. Oh, I can't believe he took offense to that. I'm just joking.
I wish I looked like Vanna White. I mean, hey, if you had to pick one.
I'm worried about you now.
Oh, my God.
Anyway.
In the meantime, go to my website, Dan at danjordan.com to get the newsletter. We'll see you on the other side.
You're listening to Shut Up and Get a Customer right here. This show's focus, well, it's to give you sales advice that leads to an unreasonable amount of success. Head to danjordan.com, danjourdan.com for a free sales kit. Now, back to the show. Here's your host, Dan Jordan.
We're back again.
We are.
Yeah, we're talking over the break about Charlie Laub, who was listening over there. Charlie, he was the fastest guy. So you remember Ben Johnson?
I remember Ben Johnson.
Nick, do you remember Ben Johnson?
The name is very familiar because I was really into paying attention to Olympic history this year because of the Rio.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure I came across the name.
So Ben Johnson was an Olympic in the 100-yard dash. He was like the fastest man in the world. But they found out that he was on steroids. So they took away his medal. He was from Canada. They took away his medal. And I remember at the time thinking, Ben, you're the fastest man in the world. Run! Don't let them take your medals. I wouldn't do that. I worked hard enough for these medals, and here they are. People that do it, but he was practicing his whole life. I'm walking the dog this morning, and I saw my guy. There's a guy who's been running. I can't believe I remember this. I have this guy. Every morning, for 10 years, I've been walking my dog. And every morning, I see this guy. We've become friends. He's like he was old 10 years ago, and he would run kind of cockeyed. He was sideways. For years, I called him 10 to 6.
10 to 6.
Yeah. Because he wasn't straight up. He was just a little bit off. And I finally met him. We talk. I'd say hi to him every morning. John. It turns out his name is John. And so I followed him one day. He's running around or whatever. And so I followed him. And when he comes home from his run, he's got a routine. He picks up a newspaper in his driveway and he reads it. I'm thinking, who reads newspapers anymore?
Old people.
Yeah.
Older people.
But they've got to be they're really good prospects because they read, those people read the paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good. My kids had a job. I don't know where these stories come. My kids had a job this weekend. The Trojanowskis, great, really nice people. They're very old. They're in my neighborhood. Mr. and Mrs. Trojanowski. Bob. What's her name? Forgot her name.
Okay, anyway.
Okay. They get old and they can't, do stuff anymore. And so my kids put up their Christmas lights every year.
Oh, that's cool.
Matthew does a bunch of stuff for it. And they're, they're very loyal customers. They'll call them, if they need to move a picture, if they need to do anything, they'll call up. And so, the kid. And Matthew doesn't take any money from him anymore because he's been doing business for so long. But he takes food. Boy, do they feed you. Good kids. Oh, my gosh, it's great. And then everyone, they're always shoving money in his pocket. These old people always shove money in your pocket. So they were doing stuff for him. But while I was there, I noticed that their lawn needs to get redone, and their person left, and they were looking for another lawn guy to get something. These are the most loyal older people who are stuck in their ways. Are the most loyal of customers
there are.
Yeah.
Well, it's years and years of having the same people. It just is what it is.
Yeah, and that's it. And so, we're all out trying to satisfy our customer, to get repeat business stuff. Listen, don't shoot for satisfaction. Shoot for loyalty.
Well, excellence will get you loyalty.
What else would get you loyalty? That's a good question.
Honesty. That's a big one. That's a big one.
The reason why I'm asking this question is because this question was given to me by one of my coaching clients. And he asked me, he says, how do you get that loyalty? Now, I had an answer for him, but I'd like to hear from the professionals here, and then you can ask the questions afterwards. So what do you think? How does one get loyalty?
So loyalty, in my world, loyalty is developed by doing what we call it value add, or doing more than you're paid for, right? So if you go and you bring more to the customer than what they expect, you tend to get a level of loyalty. That's been one of my strategies for a long time. Well,
what's an example of something extra that you can give? A lagniappe or something? It's a good word there, the lagniappe there.
I mean, in my world, if we look at how somebody runs their business and how they run particularly their logistics operation or their trucking operation, and we're looking at drivers and we're looking at the little things we can do to help. I like to alleviate people's problems, right? So if I can take a problem off somebody's shoulders by offering up a piece of technology or doing something, even a training program. I do training programs for some of my customers for driver training, right? And I'll say exactly the same thing that they say, but here's the difference, right? They don't know me, when the boss is in there and he's saying, do this, do that, they're going, it's the boss. He says,
do you charge for that?
No, I don't charge for that. And when the sales guy comes in and he throws in a couple of jokes, right? And he goes, well, hey, you should be doing this and you should be doing that. But you know what? I don't really care because I'm not the guy sitting on the side of the road out on 85 when it's 110 degrees out. You are. So you can do it or not. I don't care because I really don't care, But the drivers tend to, when they hear it from somebody other than the boss, they tend to actually listen more.
So what you offer,
third party conversation.
It's third party.
So they don't just get a truck from you; they get they get training.
They can if they want it. Okay. They get it. There's a series of things that I'll offer up to a customer like that.
Here's the answer I gave: if you want loyalty, be loyal. And if you have to ask yourself what it is to be loyal, then that's your inner thought. That's what you have to do. You have to change it. You become the person that people want to do business with. People like to do business with people that are loyal to them. So you have one thing that you can control, and that's yourself. So you control your own loyalty, and you make sure you deal with that customer as if it was your own business.
So we have another saying for that.
What's that?
You're the guy.
Yeah,
everybody's got a guy, right?
Like you said many times on the show before, Dan, is even if you don't do something, you do it. You find a way to get it done.
But we can't spend 30 minutes on one question. So what else you got there, Hotshot?
Right, so the next question is from Brandon, and he asks, what do I do when everyone is telling me to wait until after the holidays to buy?
we turn our phones onto silent?
That's a great question. Now, it is after the holiday, so it is after Thanksgiving. But you know what? There's always another holiday.
Yes.
There's always another, celebration. There's always a reason to not do it. So what would you say, Larry Towner?
Well, my thing, this is very much to what some of the comments we've already made here today already, is continue to work. Yes, there's a large percentage of people that are going to be off, particularly this afternoon. This is the day before Thanksgiving, folks, just so you know where we are. There's always a large number of people that are going to be off. But you know what? The one guy that's still working, he's a very qualified prospect, right? So if you get a hold of him, right, there's a good chance he's going to move. He's going to do, or he's going to at least listen to you. And you know what he's going to think? What's he going to think, Dan Jordan? You call him at 5 o'clock, 5:30 tonight, the night before Thanksgiving. What's he thinking about you?
Yeah, you're the hardest worker in town. You're the only other person equal to that person.
Equal to him. That's right.
Yeah. So
Very good point.
You've gained a friend there. Yes, agreed. But when somebody, let's say you're dealing with a customer and you're asking them to buy something, and the question is, what do you say to this person who's saying, I'm going to wait till after the holiday?
Well, so that's an objection, right? That's handling objection. That's an objection. You say, you know what? This is just a thought. I just want to throw this out there. If we sign all the paperwork now and we'll write down at the bottom of the paper, we're going to write down that, this is subject to your approval after the holidays. But let's just do it now, because that way I don't really have to come back here if I need to. What do you think about that?
That's money.
Yeah. Take care of it. Just get it done.
That's very good. It's very similar to what I told Brandon to do. Exactly that. Ask the question, well, why? What are you waiting for?
Yeah, what are we really? It's an objection.
First thing, we could deal with objections later. First thing you want to do is just agree. But yeah, I totally understand and makes sense. But I got to ask you, what's going to change between now and then? And then once they say nothing and all this stuff, then you could do your line there, which was great. Very good. And move it on. Don't understand when they're saying that. It could be a real objection, but it could just be they're just trying to get rid of you. They don't really want to buy it. In which case, you just say to them, "Listen, if you don't want to buy, fair. I'll move on from
fair.
there."
I mean, it's just. That's.
But if it is an honest objection,
give me one more question. A good one. So for the listeners.
All right. So this is a good one from Kathy Jones.
Oh, Kathy Jones.
How do I stand out but not be pushy in my real estate business? I'm a new agent.
Aha.
That's a tough
real
one.
estate.
Because like you said, you want to go gung-ho, but you don't want to come in acting like you're the big hotshot and everyone goes, you've never done this before. You know what I'm saying? So how do you walk that line?
How do you walk that line? So New Guy Nick, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to throw that out there. 3 minutes, right? Got it. If New Guy Nick was out there selling, what would he do?
What would I do? Yep. Oh, man.
Just thinking about so I'm going to give you some tips. I'll just do it quick. And then Dan will chime in because Dan's good at chiming in, right? So one of the first things is new real estate in particular, be very professional. Number one, work at being very professional. Number two is say, hey, I'm here for you. What is it that you want? You start asking questions, right? Because too many real estate agents they look at you and they go, oh, you need this house, that house, like all salespeople do. This house, that house, that house. And sometimes this is not the case, right?
This person, Kathy Jones, who says her name like that, Kathy Jones. It's like, Kathy Jones is a new agent. She's a new real estate agent. She wants to, she's doing networking meetings. She's getting around, but it's tough to say, hey, I'm a real estate. Do you need anything without, sounding like everybody else, which is true. So I told her to sound like everybody else. She's part of a club. She's in a country club. And kind of high-end stuff. Mm-hmm. And she, there's probably the 15 other real estate agents that are meeting everybody at these parties saying the same thing. So I told them when people ask about her and say, what do you do? For her to say this, I'm a real estate agent, but I never work with friends. What do you do? And what happened, you want to push them away. You got to push people away. Yeah. And so if they are your friend and they want to do business with you, they'll cut you off to the side and they'll say, listen, can you break the rules? All of a sudden, they feel special. And when they feel special, then word gets out that you only deal with special people. So you really just got to do the opposite of what people would expect you to do on the front end, in addition to all this other stuff. What do you think of that, New Guy?
I think that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, that'll work for insurance people as well. Because people always just go after their whole family with the insurance and all.
Yeah, I mean, when you're in those when you're in those kinds of businesses, it's you really have to be thinking contrary, to what everybody else does. So,
And it works. And it's the first thing I do when I tell people, at the beginning of any sales presentation, I'll say this. I say, listen, after this presentation, I'm going to ask you for the order. Just like I'm asking. And you can have one of three answers. You could say yes, in which case we'll move forward. You could say no, in which case we'll move forward in a different way.
Yeah. Or
some form of I need to think about it. All I ask is you don't choose option number 3. And they laugh, and then you can move on. But then they know where the whole thing is leading, just like you listeners to this radio station. At the end, you're going to realize that I'm going to tell you to go to my website at danjordan.com. You need to get my newsletter. One reason, because this way you'll get all the information during the week. The second reason is I'll be able to sell you awesome new products. And you can say yes or no. Larry Towner.
There's a third reason. You can get your questions submitted here for the radio show and be answered.
Larry Towner, Nick, we're good to go. This is Shut Up and Get a Customer. I'm the Deej. We'll see you next week. Have a great Thanksgiving.
My friends, if you are a business owner, you know the importance of shutting up and just getting a customer. And you can hear this advice right here on KLRN Radio every single Sunday at 2 p.m. Until next time, head to danjordan.com, danjourdan.com for a free sales kit that will lead you to an unreasonable amount of success.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need the Debt Ninja. If you've been caught in a financial trap and need to be set free, then you need the Debt Ninja. Want to stop those harassing collection calls? Start saving thousands in interest and fees and get out of debt fast? Then you need to call the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja will find the best companies across the country that will help you consolidate all your bills into one easy payment, reduce your payments by 30 to 50%, and get you out of debt fast. If you have unsecured debt of $10,000 or more, such as credit cards, loans, or medical bills, call the Debt Ninja for a free 15-minute consultation.
Call 800-826-1246. 800-826-1246. That's 800-826-1246. Call today.
The Debt Ninja.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.